Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to another episode of our ISM Alumni Speaks series. My name is Aditi Mahajan, and I'm pursuing a master's degree in sports management. With this series, we bring in alumni of our college ISM who talk about their industry experiences and their knowledge about the sporting business. We have a very special guest called Akshita Shete with us today, and she'll be joining us very soon. And before she joins us, let me give you a brief introduction about our guest. She's an international rhythmic gymnast and also an international judge of Category 2. She's an AGO member and has also been awarded with the Shiv Chhatrapati Kridar Puraskar. So I'm just going to send her the request and she'll be joining us quite soon. Yeah. Hi, Akshita. Okay, she's just declined my request. I'm going to send her the request again. Hello, yeah. Hi, Akshita. Hi.
Hi, hi.
How are you? Again, I think she's declined the request. Hi, Ayush. Hi,
Hi.
Akshita.
Hi,
Hi,
hi.
how are
Sorry.
you?
I'm good, I'm good.
It's okay. It's okay, no issues. So,
Yeah.
Akshita, before we go forward with our discussion, I just want to ask you, what are you up to these days? I mean, how is the lockdown going for you?
Lockdown, I think, has proven very helpful for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like I have moved to Pune after my marriage, and my academy is in
Okay.
Mumbai.
Okay.
So I was able to connect to my students through online sessions, and that has kept me busy.
So, did you try your hands on cooking and like everybody else? Did you learn some new skill?
Cooking, not much, but yeah, I did a lot of baking, and yeah,
Okay.
I did a lot of desserts. So yeah, that's kind of my new hobby now.
Okay, that's great. That's great. That's it. So, Akshita, you were very young when you started doing gymnastics. I mean, now there has been this huge 20, 25 years of your career and this beautiful journey. So, how did it all begin? I mean, tell us all from the beginning.
Uh, so my journey is very oddly like how it's oddly started. I didn't choose the sport myself. Uh,
Okay.
I'm born in a sports family, and
Okay.
we had a gymnastics center right next to my house. And my
Oh,
dad used to watch the kids play around, and I
right.
used to just sit in the house doing coloring and drawing. So there was
Okay.
just one day he got pissed off at me, and he just picked me and he took me there, and I was forced into the game.
Okay. So, it was
So
your
yeah,
parents'
just
call, not you.
yeah, definitely not. So for a year at least, I used to go to the class. I used to come back running home. My dad used to
Mhm.
again put me there, and yeah, that's how I just. Then later on, after a year, I fell in love with the sport, and I took it up as a competitive sport.
And then there was no turning back.
No.
Okay, okay. So, Akshita, rhythmic gymnastics is something which is quite different from traditional sports that you've seen and that we've played. I mean, our viewers might not really be aware about how rhythmic gymnastics is all about. Can you just give them an idea about what rhythmic gymnastics is?
Sure. Rhythmic gymnastics is an Olympic sport, and it is a woman-oriented sport.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll see only women in that game. And the
Okay.
sport is started at a young age, okay, by
Mm-hmm.
3 to 4 years of age, because this sport
Right.
requires a lot of flexibility, and it is easy to achieve higher flexibility at when you start at a younger age.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
unlike other sports, this sport even ends early. So, like, gymnasts can continue playing around by they're like 25, 26 years, and then they retire.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
rhythmic gymnastics is all about using props like ball, clubs, ribbon, hoop.
Yeah.
It's very fancy, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. It's known as one of the most glamorous sport in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I just happened to saw your video and I thought it was beautiful. You made it seem effortless. It was just so beautiful. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I mean, speaking about the way your family, your father mainly, introduced you to the sports, I wanted to know what role did your family play in this entire career of yours? How important, how
Uh,
important role did your family play, and in what terms, in what manner?
my family was always supportive. Um,
Right.
I was not a very bright child in academics, so they didn't push me into that much. Their only requirement was you clear, like don't fail. That's the only requirement. That's it. And
Okay.
they used to all. My mom used to support me in taking me for competitions, giving me healthy food, and managing my schedule basically. And my dad was always supportive. Like if I wanted any equipment, he never said a no to me. If it was needed,
Okay.
got it. So birthday gifts for me were everything related to my sport.
To sports, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you have had a great supportive family. Amazing, amazing. So, okay, this was the brighter side of it. But were you able to find the right kind of coach, the right kind of facilities when you finally made a decision of pursuing rhythmic gymnastics like professionally, like at a competitive level? Were there facilities available? Were there coaches available?
Um, when I started gymnastics, I actually started with artistic gymnastics. So there are 6 types of
Okay.
gymnastics, and artistic is one of that. And rhythmic was not very popular when I started. So I started with artistic gymnastics, and I was very creative and very flexible in the beginning. That is how my coach shifted me to rhythmic gymnastics. So I
Okay.
started rhythmic at the age of 10 or 12. That's actually very late. And
Hmm.
with no knowledge of this sport, my coach used to watch YouTube videos, read books. Okay, she's an artistic gymnastics coach, but she raised me as a rhythmic gymnast. So we used to
So
watch
were there
videos.
like no? I mean, were there no proper rhythmic gymnast coaches in our country at that point of time?
Maharashtra didn't have many.
Okay.
There are in Jammu Kashmir started earlier. Maybe yeah, like the North Lobby started rhythmic gymnastics first. So Maharashtra was a little later than that. So we had to just watch videos and books. And for my basic training, I had a different coach. Then for my advanced training, I had a different coach. My basic training was
Okay.
with Sanjeevni Purnapatre, and
Okay.
advanced was with Varsha Upadhyay.
Okay. Okay.
So,
So
and
was it like a? Yeah. Please go on.
yeah, so you also mentioned about the facilities availability, right? So
Yeah.
apparatus we used to use for ball. So normally it's an FIG international apparatus which are not still available in India. So we used to play
Okay.
with basketball.
Oh.
And yeah, and for ribbon we used to use a normal satin ribbon. And I remember using a dandiya stick. We used to attach a hook and put the ribbon to it, and that's how we started learning ribbon. But then
Right.
my coach used to go to competitions later on, and she got apparatus for us.
Hmm.
That's our struggle. Like we didn't know what are actual apparatus. And
Right.
facilities, we still don't have a proper indoor hall for this sport yet in Maharashtra.
Even now.
Even now.
Oh my God.
So that's still a
Okay.
struggle. We still manage with height issues, a permanent place. We have trained in terrace, we have trained in mud,
So you've done it all. You've done all the struggles.
everything possible.
All right. So were there failures? Were there setbacks in your career?
It was like every normal child has in school, probably at the age of when you're in the 10th and HSC exams. I
Okay.
remember in my 10th standard, I think I had an exam in March, and I had a national games competition in Jan. And it
Okay.
had, so we had a 1 month training camp followed by the championships.
Mhm.
I remember attending the entire camp. We used to solve papers in the camp, studying in the camp at break times, and then the team was supposed to travel by train, but we were permitted to go by flight. So we just reached one day before the competition, left soon after that, and then managed with my exams, and I still managed to get a first class.
Oh, I mean, you were good with studies then. You were good with studies.
It's still an average.
No, but you managed first class. You were good with studies, considering the amount of training that you have to do. I think you were good with studies. You got away with it.
We had to manage. That's how sports management helped me, right?
Right. So, I mean, could you just give us an idea about the scenario of gymnastics in India, and why is the sport not so popular even now? What is happening?
Rhythmic gymnastics, since we started with learning videos and stuff. Sorry, I can. Uh, just a minute. Yeah.
Sure.
So we lack in grassroots development basically. So we didn't know back then what is required to develop that kind of hyper flexibility or ballet in this sport and the apparatus handling. So that is why we are late in this game probably, and we wouldn't say that we are not developing. India has progressed in probably 10 years in this sport very well. Like we had a recent achievement of one of our junior champions reached to the finals at the Asian Championship competitions. That is when India started to get recognition. And we got a lot of exposure with international competitions and training camps. So our generation is the one which has learned from scratch, and we've got a lot. And a lot of gymnasts like me, and I have a lot of other colleagues who have taken this sport as career. And we are helping the grassroots development now, because now since we have learned everything from abroad, we are trying to inculcate the same training here.
Right. Okay, so I mean, India is a country which is known to consider cricket as a religion. I mean, cricket is everywhere. But do you think we're just lacking to be appreciated for all kinds of sports? I mean, why have we just restricted our appreciation for very few categories of sports? Why do you think is that so? Why is it happening?
I think India likes sports because it's entertaining. There are very few people who follow it as passion or love for the sport. People just want to see entertainment, people winning, people losing, people crying. People are more interested in the negative part than the positive part.
Okay.
And cricket, I don't know. I never liked cricket personally. So, because I've always seen people struggle in my sport, there are so many other sports and they're amazing sports. So, for me, like I used to watch swimming, I used to watch archery, I've seen rifle shooting. And India tends to gain, like you tend to attract yourself to a sport only when you see some achievements going on. So Indian cricket has been blooming. So people tend to get attracted to it. So imagine now gymnastics was not much known, but when Deepa Karmakar won a medal or reached the Olympics, that is how people started knowing about gymnastics. So this is where we are lacking probably in India. Until we don't see some achievement in that sport, we don't get attention.
Right. The recognition comes after you win an Olympic medal.
Exactly.
Right. All right. So, speaking about grassroots, I think grassroots development is the need of hour for a country like India to develop sports. So, has there been any recent initiatives taken by government of India to develop grassroots in our country? And what do you think more needs to be done to develop these kind of sports?
So, recent achievement is that Sports Authority of India has started online free training for all over India. They have
Okay.
they have a grassroots training and plus developmental training,
Mm-hmm.
and they have called a lot of experts from Russian countries, and they have Indian experts. So we've actually seen that India has so many young gymnasts at grassroots level that we are helping them train online, and it's actually helping them a lot, because there
Right.
are girls who are just flexible but they don't know the proper technique of it. So there are a
Okay.
lot of experts helping them with the basics, and we are trying to inculcate ballet in Devi training, because
Oh, yeah,
India
I
is
saw it.
more
Yeah.
of classical dancing like Kathak and Bharatanatyam. We
Yeah.
don't have the ballet culture. So get
Mm-hmm.
that in the body takes time. So we somehow started, and thanks to the government, it's finally happening. And I think Corona is helping us develop our sport in a better way.
Okay, yeah, because of the online mode. Right.
Yes.
Right, right. I've seen countries like USA and China. Structurized, they have this structurized approach for gymnastics. I mean, right from the school level up until to senior level, and then Olympic qualifiers. Everything is just so structured. Whereas in India, we've seen there have been instances where even the national championships at times were not held. I mean, I love the initiative which has been done by government, but what more needs to be done? What more needs to be done to develop gymnastics in India?
Gymnastics mainly requires, we don't have levels. So it's just like school. How school has junior KG, senior KG, first, second, third standard. You have a particular syllabus to follow. That is what is required in India too for developing this sport. So we don't have so many levels. We don't have a proper level program.
Right.
So probably we are trying to develop that. Once we have that,
Okay.
it'll be easier to, build a platform for the students, so they know which step to go when.
Right.
That's what we think. Yeah.
And are you also actively involved in any of the initiatives of grassroots development?
Yeah, I will be taking a few sessions,
Okay.
because yeah, they've included the seniors of this field, like it just passed out from the game, and we are just coaches and we are judges like the latest ones.
Right.
So yeah, we will be taking a few sessions along with the other international experts.
Oh, right. That's amazing. That's amazing. So now you're a judge. You're an international judge. You've been a player. You've had this amazing. I was looking at your education. You're an MBA. You're an MBA as well. So,
Yes.
how come sports management? Where did sports management fit into all of this?
So I had taken a year's break from my field, because my
Okay.
father was like, you need to have some educational certification. That is when I was sent to Singapore for a year
Okay.
for pursuing my MBA, and I was distracted from my sport. Frankly speaking, I was very attracted to marketing, but then I think one day on TV I just saw rhythmic gymnastics, and that just pulled me back to India, saying that I am what I am because of my sport. If I don't
Right.
pursue my like sport as a career, I'm not doing justice to it.
Right.
And then after coming back to India, I started my academy, but I didn't have a qualification to run an academy of my own. That is when
Right.
ISM came in picture, and I took a year's gap again from my coaching, and I
Okay.
focused on ISM studies. It helped me. It showed me the other picture of sports, basically. For me, the sport was just playing. We didn't know what
Right.
else was there to the other picture of sports. So I
Right.
didn't know there was accounting in sports. I didn't know there was
Right.
sports law. There's, I don't know, you're studying as well. You know the other
Yeah, yeah.
aspect. There's
We
social
study all
media.
of this.
There's marketing, advertising of sports events,
Right.
everything.
Okay. Okay. So, how has this experience of ISM helped you in your career? How has it helped you grow and helped you in this sporting career of yours?
Uh, ISM help. So I was always interested in events.
Right.
So ISM actually helped me manage and organize our competitions. So from local competitions till national level, what all is required, like the planning, the team management, backup planning, everything, the organization. So I think that's what I get from ISM.
Okay, right. So, can you just give us an idea about what are the prospective future opportunities and career options available in this field? I mean, also for somebody who's not, not somebody who's played sports. I mean, somebody who's not played sports. What are the career options and opportunities available in this field?
So again, this is what ISM taught us. You don't need to be an athlete to pursue sports as a career.
Right.
Because if you're not been an athlete, you may not be on field, but you can work as off field. So there's, I don't know, but I think when you are studying, I realized there's ticketing, then there's social media, then there's athlete marketing, you know. So athlete administration, team management. So you don't need to be a sports person to achieve a career in sports.
Right.
And also it's like a small secret which so so used to tell us that there will never be an end to sports ever.
Right.
I'm not getting the word. So there'll be always job openings in the field of sports. You will never lose job because no matter what, the industry stops. Anything can stop, but sports will go on. There'll always be events. Even right now, as we are speaking, there probably is some online event going on. We have online competitions going on in sports. So yeah, that's the best part about sports.
Right. Are there any specific career opportunities in rhythmic gymnastics in particular?
Rhythmic gymnastics, one thing is coaching, then there's judging, which is not a full-time thing, part-time thing because we go for judging competitions only when there are competitions.
Right.
And you can start your own club. You can be a part of the management, administration, organizing competition. Also, there are a lot of government coaching options. Like the Sports Authority of India is one of the government bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just reading about these level. You've completed this level 1 and level 2 rhythmic courses.
Yeah.
Could you just share some knowledge and insight about what these courses are all about? Are there any particular qualifications or pre-requirements which are necessary to pursue this course? And can you just share your experience about these certification courses that you've done?
Yeah. So coaching courses, there are 3 levels. So there's 1, 2, and 3. I've completed 2. I need to do the third. And in order to complete these courses, you need to be an athlete yourself. You need to know the basics of the sport. You need to be a state or a national level player.
So that's a pre-requirement. You need to be a
That is
gymnast.
yes, you need to be a gymnast, or at least you need to have the knowledge of the sport. Because in the coaches course, we are taught elements and body anatomy, apparatus handling. So if you don't know the basics, you won't be able to do it. And
Right.
if you can't do it, you can't teach.
Right. Got it. Okay. All right. So now you've also turned into a coach, and you were also a player before. So how different is it now that the tables have turned and you've stepped into the shoes of being a coach? I mean, how different has this experience been?
Uh, it's like a camera. Okay? Being in front of the camera is only fun. Okay, it's just work hard. But when you're on the back side of the camera, you get to see the details.
Yeah.
So when I was a gymnast, my coach used to shout at me, like, toes pointed, you're not smiling, all the possible complaints. But when you actually become a coach, you actually see like, oh, my coach used to see this in me. So I can understand, like sometimes I get angry at my students and I'm telling you 10 times to do one thing, but you're not listening. Okay, and the student's like, no, ma'am, I'm trying. So that's the difference I've felt. When you become a coach, you actually see the small details, and you actually become like a mother. Like, hello, I have done this myself, and how are you not doing it?
Right, right,
So
right.
it's fun, but yeah, you do understand the details about being the coach, and it is a big thing. So
Yeah.
the struggle is everything.
Right, right, right. I mean, I have also trained kids, and we have these cross country races in badminton. And, when our coach used to ask us to run 10 kilometers, हम ऐसे शक्ल बना लेते थे कि सर क्या हो रहा है I mean आप क्या बोल रहे हो I mean it was just so difficult. And then when you shift to being a coach, and then you have to ask those kids to do a 10-kilometer run, and then those faces that they make, you have to convince them कि भाई 10 किलोमीटर भागना है. I mean, I have learned a lot of patience from being a coach. I think her video is stuck. Okay, I need to add her again now. Oh wait, there were some network issues from Akshita's side. She's not here yet. Let me just text her that she needs to join back again. Yeah, she's here. Yeah, I think there was some network issues.
Yeah, there was some lag.
Yeah. So yeah, Akshita, I was just talking about your experience of being a coach. Yeah, I was just sharing. Did you hear what did I share? I mean, I just added on a few points for myself. Okay, you
No,
lost it all.
I
So I
couldn't
just.
hear because the screen just went blank.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right. So I just said that from being a coach, I just learned how to be patient. How to be patient. I mean, patience is something that I learned.
Oh, nice.
Right. Right. So Akshita, now, we as athletes, we as players, we are someone who prefer to go out there and train, have a run, play our sports. How difficult was it for your athletes emotionally, during this lockdown period? And then how did you manage to stay in touch with your athletes, with your trainees?
So, in the beginning, we were a bit scared about how to take this forward, because sports is something you need to practice on field. And when the
Right.
field is shut, it is very difficult to train at home.
Right.
But not seeing students in front of you, like a sport like gymnastics, it's a touch sport. You need
Right.
to correct the postures of the gymnast. You constantly need to correct them. And when we asked our students to do self practice at home, we were scared that they might do something wrong, or they
Right.
might injure themselves. But then we started with these online sessions, and somehow we just connected well with the students,
Right.
and we helped. So during this lockdown, we managed to work on the basics more, because when you're at
Okay.
home, yeah, so we had to work on all the basic techniques, which probably during training in every days we never used to focus much on them, because you have less time, and students used to come back tired from school, then they're wasting time in traveling because of traffic. But this has somehow, we put this. I know it is a bad thing to say that Corona is helping my sport, but we made the most of this time staying at home, and we made positive use of being at home. We've not let any gymnast sit idle.
Right.
Okay. And yeah, we as coaches, we attended a lot of webinars. So
Right.
that we attended this sports psychology session where psychologists suggested to make sure that the students are practicing, because this is a tough
Mhm.
time, tough situation. We don't know for how long we have to sit locked down in the houses, and when would it be safe for students to get out of the house for change. So we have to make the most of it. We are still not sure if for another 2 3 months we might have to continue with online training.
Right, right, right.
So yeah, and what they suggested is to make training innovative.
Mhm.
We as coaches actually found the creative side of us. So we
Mhm.
started with online competitions. We
Mhm.
I managed to keep every Saturday we have a speaker.
Okay.
So yeah, we managed for a nutrition session. We managed for sports psychology sessions, physiotherapy sessions. We actually
Right.
trained parents. Like told them the basics of body posture,
Right.
stability.
Right.
We actually educated the parents so they can keep an eye on the students and make sure that they are not doing anything wrong. And if anything wrong, then what they should do, what are the measures they should take, or icing or massage, anything that is required.
Mhm. Okay.
Then I also managed to have a prop competition.
Oh
So
yes,
in
I saw
rhythmic,
that. Yeah.
yeah, in rhythmic we have our apparatus. So we thought I came up with this new thing that let's not use our apparatus and let's use something which is in the house and have a prop competition in the house. So girls actually took effort of wearing their costumes, and they
Mhm.
very there's a girl who uses a CD player, like CD disc.
Oh.
There's a girl who's used pom pom. There's a girl who's used a gift box.
Right.
A girl with a dumbbell. So the girls, they're so young, but they come up with such innovative ideas themselves.
Right.
Then we've also had a nutrition session recently, and followed by that immediately, we had a cooking competition for the students. So that
Mhm.
helped us understand that the students also are understanding what they learned in that session. So they know
Hmm.
what they're eating, what they are not supposed to eat. Yeah.
Right. So, how long do you think will it take to condition them back? I mean, once this lockdown period is over.
Uh, I don't. We are making sure that they are not lacking behind training. Okay, this is what our
Right.
basic thing is. So when they come back to the training centers, they have not lost on any of the training.
Right.
Yes, when y'all are training at home, there's a lot. Y'all have restrictions with the space,
Hmm.
but we've made the best of using little space. And rhythmic is a sport which could be practiced at home, unlike other sports. So we are using apparatus handling. We have managed with ballet sessions, so that has helped
Right.
their body. So they have not lost with flexibility. They have not lost with strength training. This is what we focused on. So when they come back to their centers, they will be stronger, and we'll be ready with those elements which we couldn't practice in our off season.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
All right. And what is the average age group of trainees that you have at your academy?
I have the youngest is 3.5 years.
Oh, that young.
Yeah.
And what is the upper limit? What? How does the
Upper,
upper limit of the age go?
I have till the junior level. I think my eldest one is 15.
Okay, 15. All right. I just saw this video of a lady who was using a ball and dancing to. So, which is why I was just interested in this question. I mean, I thought maybe you have some people who are above that particular age group and training with you.
So that was just another innovative. The idea just came to my mind because every time we used to have mothers coming to drop their students to the center, and they used to be fascinated seeing them use the props.
Hmm.
So they used to constantly say that Akshita, you should keep a session for mothers.
Right.
That is one. That just one day I came up with like, let's have a surprise session for only mothers, like a rhythmic dance session with apparatus handling.
Right. Okay, so that was it. You were just connecting parents with it.
Yes.
All right. So, do you think sports in general has liberated women? I mean, what is your take on the current scenario of women in sports?
Of course, sports has liberated women. As in, years ago, women were told to just cook or manage the house. And
Right.
sport has actually made them stronger. It used to be like with funny incidences where they can't even open a jar of bottle, like a jam bottle,
Right.
and they have to give it to the men.
Yeah.
It starts from the basic things. But today, if you see, sports has taken women to a next level.
Mhm.
And surprisingly, I'm lucky to marry a person who has also been a sports person, and he helps me with cooking, and he's a better cook than me. So it has changed. Like the entire thing has changed. It was a myth that
Right.
women are meant to be delicate, are only supposed to dress up, sit in the house, or stand against their men, or just support them. But it is
Right.
like we can say that now women and men are actually working shoulder to shoulder, and they're actually helping each other, then putting
Mhm.
women down.
Right, right, right. And were there any such instances or experiences where where you've experienced a bias, or maybe you've seen your peers or any of your colleagues experiencing this bias? Has there been any such experience?
In my field, bias, no, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, because my field is a women-oriented sport, if you see, it's like women power.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So I frankly haven't experienced anything like that yet.
So you're lucky that way.
Yeah, and I just hope nobody should ever face that, because I understand there are women who struggle a lot in their choice of field.
Right.
Yeah.
Akshita, we've seen, I mean, why do you think there is this adequate representation when it comes to sports in India? I mean, when it comes to cricket, there are lesser number of players from Northeast. When it comes to badminton, it's just, restricted to a few states like Hyderabad or Telangana. Similarly, in gymnastics, I mean, is there adequate representation from all states and all parts of a country? And if not, then what is the reason?
It's the same in, I think, all sports. It's probably because availability of proper training facilities is the main thing. Like a state of Maharashtra, it is difficult to find a proper indoor hall for gymnastics. We do have for artistic gymnastics, but we don't have for rhythmic, or we don't have for trampoline. And the North is always known for sport. Okay, they have these huge universities, they have huge lands, they have a lot of stadiums. So they have a
Right.
lot of sports culture in them. So that is why we notice more of sport coming, like athletes coming out from the north and not from the south, or say from mid of India.
Right, right, right. Okay. And what needs to be done to unearth more talent like Deepas or Meghnas or Akshitas? What more needs to be done?
I think we need to focus more on grassroots and hunt talent at a young age and invest in them
Right.
that age.
Right.
So if you see, Deepa also came into picture after she won, or after she
After.
won the
Yeah.
Olympics. So imagine if Deepa was targeted at the age of 10, and then the coach would have invested, or investors would have invested in that kid at that young age. She would have probably easily won a medal at the Olympics, which she lost by just one place.
Right.
Yeah, I think the grassroots is the main thing, and hunting talent at a young age is the main thing that we need to do.
Right, right, right. Let me just take few questions if the audience has. Okay, so there is this question from Sairaj. What activities should we start at grassroots level to make youngsters to get the sports, or which excites them to choose this sport?
There are a lot of YouTube videos or online sessions going on, and they can basically start with simple exercises. I think gymnastics is
Right.
known as the mother of all sport, because if you can be a gymnast, you can play any other sport. That's how it's said. Because it requires a lot of it's basic exercises like flexibility and strength. So you can start with these basics, and apparatus is something you can start with a hoop at home. So yeah, that's it.
Guys, is there any other question that you would like to ask? There is this person who is asking you to share his experience in IISM.
Oh, ISM. ISM was fun. I think that was the first institute which told us to not focus much on theoretical knowledge and focus on practical knowledge. So I don't know if you experience the same, but
No, no, I
during
have.
exams, you do, right? Because during exams, written exams were not much focused on. We used to get assignments like presentations to do every week, and that helped us gain a lot of knowledge of different sports and different field of this.
Mhm. So this one person asks, what's your advice to all those young kids who are wanting to make a career in sports management?
Sports management, I think, is the best uh, thing to do. I have seen, I think during my batch, we had a lot of engineers who quit engineering and took up sports management because it's a
Mhm.
huge field and it's a growing field. So if you just have passion for sport, you should just go for sports management, and you can take it up as a career in various fields. Like if you actually like numbers, you can actually do accounting for sports. Definitely, it's a required field in sports too.
Right.
My
There
voice
is
is
this.
a bit sorry.
Yeah, your voice is cracking a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Deepak is asking, what is this advice you would give to family members to support young gymnasts?
Uh, I think this is a thing in India again where we focus more on academics and less on sport. Because it's a simple thing which I teach my students and their parents, that how do you push your kid to go to school every day? It's the same way you need to push your kid to pursue a sport too. Because somewhere you say that schooling is compulsory, schooling is a necessity. Same way, sport should also be taken up. So it's a two-way thing. If you as a gymnast or you as an athlete want to pursue something, support is the main thing. It starts from home.
Right.
If the parents don't support positively, it is very difficult for any child to achieve sports as a career or as a competitive field. So it just starts
Right.
with basic support at home.
Right. And Kavan is asking, what are the different mental aspects in gymnastics?
Uh, we do a lot of meditation and yoga sometimes because rhythmic gymnastics or gymnastics, it's in competition you perform like probably a 90-second routine, but you train for that particular routine for an entire year. So
Right.
you need to get all your focus and concentration at that very moment, and it can be a good thing or a bad thing also. You can perform amazing and you can perform extremely bad at the same time. So mental relaxation, we do this what do you call visualization before entering the mat or even before entering the practice hall. We make these students visualize or talk to themselves like what they want to do, what they imagine themselves to achieve.
True. Yeah.
So there's a visual talking which we make students do during practice and also during the competition, which helps them give their best performance.
Right. So they visualize their entire performance in their head. I mean, what exactly the moves in the dance that they want to do.
Yeah, everything.
Right. And has sports science entered this field of gymnastics? I mean, sports science is something which is a new thing today, right? Technology has played a very important role in improving sports. So in gymnastics as well, has sports science entered the sport, or it is yet to come?
Sports science in India, not yet. It is used in artistic gymnastics to understand angles.
Okay.
Rhythmic gymnastics, not yet. We are still working on our grassroots and we are still trying to develop the sport. So, sports
Right.
science in India is still developing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And there is this another question. Um, what is the how is the diet routine of a gymnast?
Diet routine. It differs gymnastic. So rhythmic gymnastics
Okay.
requires lean muscles and thin girls and tall girls. And
Okay.
we do recommend them light diet, but nutritionists suggest that kids should eat everything. But we recommend students to have more of fruits, and we actually have to tell them what to have before training, during training, and after training.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what they should eat before training, or what they should eat in the morning. So yeah, diet is like everything in gymnastics, because if you're on the heavier side, it is difficult to do the things that are required to do in the sport.
Right. Right. And there is this question: what is your role? Who is your role model in rhythmic gymnastics? Your pillar of support and moral support in life?
My role model, I think, is my mom.
Okay.
Okay, because she has supported me the most. If it wasn't her, I think I wouldn't have pursued my sport even, because she gave up everything. I have a younger brother, but she put all the attention on me to make sure that I got proper food. She made sure that I was protected from all the negativity. Used to travel for all the competitions with me. So she's like the biggest role model for me, and I think every child should have a mother like that. And if
Right.
you have the perfect support, you can achieve everything.
I also think it's in your genes. I mean, you've talked about how you had this family who's been into sports. I think that has played a very important role to make sure that you have this amazing career in gymnastics.
I think in my family, I'm the only one who took up sport as a career. Because
Right.
I had my uncle who lives with me, who was a boxer himself and a karate champion. But because of injuries, and again the pullback, like the family not supporting in that field, like what will you do in a field of sport? How will you earn in this sport? This is like the normal
Mhm.
question asked by every child who wishes to pursue sport.
Yeah. And what is the struggle of a rhythmic gymnast, an average struggle in a daily life of a rhythmic gymnast? What are the daily struggles?
Daily struggles in India is different compared to the other countries, because we have schooling for almost 6 hours or 7 hours in the day. So I have students who actually wake up in the morning at 6 and 7, do schooling, and they come back home, then change, and we have to start our training sessions by 4:30, because our schools are, they go until 4 and 4:30, and we can start
Right.
training only post that. So, and again, we have this tuition system in India.
Right.
So girls struggle a lot with training and academics in my center also.
Right. So there is no, I mean, a child never get, I mean, rest is so important in sports. You, after a training session, your coach tells you to go out there and have a nice food and have rest. I mean, but in India, since there are these tuitions, you have to go to school. I mean, a child's body doesn't get adequate amount of rest. This is what I feel. I mean,
Don't.
we have mixed things up like anything.
I know I have students who even have go for classes on a Sunday.
Oh,
So, because they train 6 days a week, and then you as coach tell them, okay, Sunday is something, you relax, take a massage, relax your body, calm your mind. But no, then there are so many other activities and parents put them into. They don't probably want the kid to sit idle.
hmm.
They want them to explore everything possible. So I think this is where we are lacking. We need our child to, choose one thing, focus on that one thing, and rest is like the must.
Right,
But like a city in
right.
Mumbai is known as the fastest moving city.
It
So it
totally
never
is.
rests. Yeah, so Mumbai never rests. It's just like that. So like our athletes never rest enough.
Never rest. Right, right, right. And there is this another question. What, according to you, should famous and influential gymnasts like Deepa do to influence the youth to go in the sport of gymnastics?
I think Deepa has influenced enough by reaching the Olympics. He's actually shown a lot of young gymnasts that you can achieve anything and everything. And
Right.
in a state like Maharashtra, even if we don't have the best facilities, we've still given good results.
Right.
And that's the best thing. And I think
Right.
India is known for that. Even though we don't have the best of facility, we don't have the best of knowledge, but we have still managed to get that knowledge and give the possible results that we see today.
You've clearly, I mean, we've managed to struggle our way out no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there are no further questions. Yeah, I think that's it. So, Akshita, before we end the session, what is this one last message that you would want to give to people who want to pursue this passion and career of sports management?
I would just say, dream for it and work for it. Like, if you have the passion for it, make it your career. Just having passion and not working towards it is not going to help you. If you just have the passion, work for it, and stay in the field. If sport is something that is giving you some recognition, make it your passion and do something to give it back to it. Like just the way gymnastics has given me an identity today. So it is my responsibility to grow this sport. So I have to give back my knowledge, what I gain. So that's my thing. So knowledge gain should be shared.
Right. All right, Akshita, it was wonderful having you here, and thank you for this amazing experience and amazing knowledge base that you've shared with us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a nice day. All right, bye bye. Bye, Akshita. Bye.